Happy Women's Day to all of you. Along with the International Women's Day, we're also celebrating another very important milestone on Let's Talk with Parul, our first anniversary. Since we rolled out our first episode on Women's Day last year, we've initiated many conversations that need to happen. Online, on our Facebook group by the same name, and offline with our incredible guests on Let's Talk. The most inspiring stories of resilience, of courage, of initiative shown by the women who've been part of various discussions. Today we revisit some of those stories and celebrate these women all over again.
There are certain things that you are taught to not talk about. हमारे country में, especially when there's marital rape or there's marital sexual abuse or there's marital force, you don't want to talk about it.
And it's not even recognized. आप बात किससे करोगे?
Under the law, it's not.
आप अपने parents से भी बात करने में झिझकते हो because you don't know how they are going to be open to it or not open to it. You don't realize कि वो कब छोटी सी बात वो गाली गलौज से वो धक्का हो गया, धक्का से वो मार पिटाई हो गई, मार पिटाई से वो कहीं और चली गई बात, यहाँ तक कि बात literally आपकी जान पे उतर आई है. You will see pictures if I show you from my birthday where my arms are bruised. And there are people in the house watching my arms bruised, but they, so you make up stories. Bathroom में फिसल गए, वहाँ पे चोट लग गई. ओ अच्छा आज मैं सीढ़ियों से नीचे गिर गई. अरे यार आज मुझे चक्कर आ गया. So outwardly there's this very confident person who's walking around doing all this stuff, and inside is another person who is so underconfident that I'm having trouble just crossing the road. And that's not who you are. So you kind of lose who you are. Your individuality is just gone. सब लोग बोलते हैं, oh, be positive, look happy and everything's going to be fine. No, it's not going to be fine. Till the time you look at yourself in the mirror and you look at yourself and say that this is not okay. It got to a point where everything inside me was broken. Literally.
Physically and mentally?
Physically, mentally, sexually. I was just broken. And बहुत time लगा मुझे. It took me 3 years and it took me nearly coming face to face with death to get out, to finally make that step and take that step and say that this is not worth it.
So my mother walked out of a violent marriage when I was 9 years old. I understand completely where you're coming from because my mother wore Chinese collars for a large part of her life. She wore full sleeves.
Yeah. Camouflage, cover, hide.
So I was born 2 months premature because my father kicked my mother down the stairs. And it is a part of who you are. There's no escaping that. It's who you are. It's what you're going to be. But I think the bit that she's always emphasized for my brother and I has been that it is more than who we are going to be.
Sure.
So I think for her, the linchpin was the fact that my brother didn't speak for the first 4 years of his life. Not one word. And for me, it was slightly different. So my personal experience was that I used to read a lot. And that kind of kept me away from everything.
She mentioned that you had kind of blocked out that
large
part
parts of it.
Yeah.
Large parts of it were just blanks to me. My brother wasn't so lucky. And on the most positive note on this, he is now getting his master's in gender studies. Yeah, and he went to the interview and they asked him, well, not a lot of boys apply. And he said, oh, how else are you going to get equality if people like me aren't here to do this?
It's just so encouraging, when Sonakshi mentioned that, and she herself is doing so much. I mean, you've taken a lot of that trauma and you've put it back so positively that I'm completely amazed.
I'm aware of the fact that I have a unique vantage point into this. And it makes it that much more important for me to do what I do. I got my master's in gender violence and conflict. That's my area of specialty. And I grappled with it for quite a while. Because I blocked out so much of it, I didn't want to deal with this aspect of it. If my mother spoke about it openly, and she does. She goes on TV shows. She goes, she writes about it. Right. She and I run a trust that provides this free legal aid to women and child victims of domestic violence. We only do counseling, we do legal counseling across the board, but we do the cases for free for women below a certain income capacity. And I found that my mother said something really important growing up, which was that if my story can change someone else's life, I will tell it 1,000 times over. and that's why I do what I do. My mother was very conscious with both my brother and I to tell us that there is nothing wrong with the institution of marriage.
I thought that was quite incredible,
Yeah,
to bring that out positively.
And constantly that there's nothing wrong with the institution of marriage, there's nothing wrong with people.
Right.
People do good and bad things. And
Right.
you need to be completely aware of that no matter what sort of relationship you go into. Who you're with, what you do, all of these things. They reflect where you are at some point in your life, and you need to be very aware of that at all points so that you know better and you do better. You can only do better when you know better, right? So I think that was something that she's always sort of emphasized for both of us, which is why I've been very aware in my personal choices of boyfriend after that, which is there are certain behaviors that I will not tolerate.
Yeah.
And I'm extremely aware of that going forward as well. There are certain things that I will not put up with, just as a simple fact, because I've learned this is learned behavior.
Yeah.
We have a comment from Parul who says, let me get that. I'm still struggling to move out when my parents say adjust. You have kids. You can't manage all alone.
Well, Parul, sorry, I'm going to
Please
butt in
do,
here and I'm
please
going
do.
to tell you that you can manage alone. You do, and you must find a way to walk out. If you need help, we'll be there to help you. Please, if you are not happy, if you do not think that that situation is conducive to your mental and physical health, it is definitely not conducive to your child's mental and physical health. Not today, tomorrow. Please reach out. Do not believe that you are not capable of doing this. You can do it. It can be done. Sonakshi is witness. I'm telling you, it's possible.
I think it's important to know that there is a possibility that you will survive, and if not just survive, you will thrive through this, right? My mother's raised 2 children that are doing far better for having left the marriage than had we stayed.
Sexual abuse is something that takes a lot out of you, and healing is a lifelong and continuous process. I'm still healing. It's difficult. I experience a lot of PTSD sometimes, I experience a lot of trauma. It's hard for me to trust people. I shudder when someone touches me without me looking at them touching me. And I have nightmares. Every time I see the person at family gatherings, I feel like I'm a child all over again being abused, and it's terrifying, it's traumatic, but I'm strong.
What was depression like in your life, and how it impacted your life?
It just wreaks havoc on your life, and on now that I look back, I realize even my parents were greatly impacted by it. It affects your family, it affects you, and more than anything, what really concerns me, which is why I wanted to speak about this, is that it can really change what you could have become, and they aren't able to exploit their entire potential, so to say. Their growth gets stunted, and that for me is the most unfortunate thing, because then the world is losing out on a very special person, or somebody who could have been that very special person.
Being brave is not hiding, but being brave is about accepting
and
asking for help, and then the communication between the parents. It's noteworthy, and I congratulate both of you for having this beautiful relation, because half the
Absolutely.
reason
I mean,
why
we're
we
getting
have this,
comments about that
yeah,
also.
why we have this wonderful young woman here, so confident, so wonderful, is because there is a mother who has actually gone through her own set of, going through her own trauma of seeing the child suffer, because there's nothing worse for a mother than to see the child suffer and feel very helpless and not being able to do something.
What was your process of healing from Meera?
Like I said, that anger in me was actually destroying
You.
Yes. I actually repressed all these things till I was an adult.
Right.
Yeah. Because I didn't have a voice. And then I realized that I have a voice. I have to talk about it, because else I'm ruining everything around me. I was losing things. I was losing myself. And I think I was in depression right through till I understood that, yes, I'm in depression. I need to, because I was an insomniac as long as I can remember. I was going through a very troubled part with my own marriage.
Right.
Yeah. I was not trusting. I was angry. I mean, I couldn't have a conversation without a conflict, you know. So that is when I decided that I need help. And that's when I went through a very beautiful thing called shamanism.
Shamanism?
Yes. Where there were a lot of past life regressions that was done on me, and I kind of realized, and then I started believing in the fact that forget the cause, see the effect.
Okay.
You know, see where you've reached.
Right.
Yeah, you have to process this anger towards the right direction. Instead of destroying it, create yourself.
So for me, when I was in recovery, what really helped me was getting into dancing. So for me, it was dancing and drama therapy, which is why my craft is so close to me,
Right.
because I feel it was a sort of a renaissance for me. A rebirth for me when I got into drama therapy, and that was one space where I could just be myself. People are much more accepting there, and you get to run away from your own problems and live the trials and tribulations of another character. You need to find that healthy escape. What is substance abuse? Substance abuse is an escape. People, even adults, in adults, alcoholism is common. It is an escape route to deal with all the stresses that are the ever-growing stresses of life.
They showed us how a woman can be completely unstoppable once she realizes that she deserves better. They showed incredible courage in stepping up and speaking out about their trauma in the hope that things can be better for others.
I couldn't talk about this without breaking down, and now I can shout about my experience from rooftops, and I'm proud of that because I have nothing to be ashamed of. I'm a survivor. All survivors of child abuse and sexual abuse of any sort are powerhouses. They're really strong, and I hope that we can build a community for each other and support each other and get through this, because we all deserve to heal and we all deserve to be happy. And just that as a concept took me the hardest time to understand and acknowledge. So I'm happy that I'm there, and I'm happy that I'm working on myself to get better. And I'm here for anybody else who wants to do the same.
It's not like a wound, but it is something which she
difficult,
has
of course.
learned several lessons. And I mean, I know for certain as an actor, as a professional person who is, on a random basis may face rejection in an audition or, whichever
It's
way.
helped in my craft, the craft, as well as dealing with the rejection and the ups and downs that come with the craft. Both.
So it's like we say that, going through the process of, say, making a cup of espresso, you go through those high temperatures, crazy pressures, and you come out even more strong, more intense, more flavorful. You're a true momspresso woman.
Lovely, I love that.
I love it. When I had started pursuing acting professionally, I always dreamt that if I ever, reach a point in life where, I can address a large number of people and have some sort of influence on them, I would definitely want to speak about mental health. I made it my, you could say, a sort of goal in life to definitely address this when I got the opportunity or a platform to do so.
Well, here's your chance.
Yes, absolutely.
And this is a start.
Thank you so much. It's truly...
Even one person who's watching this gets out of a situation like this, that for any of us, whether it's Sonakshi, or it's me, or it's anyone who's been in this situation, is more than enough. It's if that helps somebody, I will talk about it, no matter how many times you have to relive it. And it is not easy reliving it, I can tell you now.
Of course, I can see it from both of your voices and your expressions. I know it's not easy, which is why I am absolutely in admiration of anyone who comes here and shares their story with us. We've gone through various different topics. We've talked about a lot of traumatizing events that have happened in people's lives. And each time somebody comes and talks about their story, I am just amazed. So again, I can't thank you guys enough. There is a lot that is wrong with society. But the one question that I keep raising on this platform is, who makes up society? You and I. And so who needs to change? You and I. our guests have gone way beyond lip service and shown us exactly how it's done. Ankita, we all see these images every day. We're all looking at them and we go, that's not right. Oh, it shouldn't be like that. You did something about it. What made you? What was that point that made you say that, okay, enough is enough. Here's where I'm going to take some action.
It was a selfish reason. It made me feel insulted. Like so many women around me, unfortunately, I have also faced sexual harassment, molestation right from my childhood. And that does not define me.
Sure.
That's not who I am. What happens to me does not make me who I am today. And I felt like, why should others gain control of my story and my narrative? I would tell my story my way, and if someone is telling it the wrong way, then I have a right to intervene. And if you actually look at the sexual violence survivors who have come out in the open and reclaimed their identity, fought for
stronger
justice.
than anyone else.
Look at their faces. I mean, Bhavri Devi, Bilkis Bano, Suzette Jordan, Sunita Krishnan, Sohaila Abdulali, who's written a book on it. Yeah. They're all
amazing.
And I know that everyone may not have the resources and support that they do, but everyone still has their dignity, self-respect, and a life beyond this incident. Yeah. So I felt like this is about me as much as anyone else.
Your selfish reasons again are gain, because Adishi, when you're writing about these aspects, when you're talking to your children, the students around you, so at that time, what is it that comes in your mind? I mean, what do you want to achieve through this?
I think it's just you just keep hoping to get one step closer to the world that you wish you had when you were growing up. I think it's just that.
That's very, very simply put, but I think that's really hitting the nail on the head.
Yeah, I just look at kids and I'm like, I just hope that you don't have to go through what me and my friends had to go through when they were kids, because nobody deserves to go through that.
And I think every mum watching this today would be watching this just exactly for that reason, that what can I do to make a change that my daughters don't have to go through the same thing.
Before I started, these were a few principles that I knew that I would constantly keep in mind during all of the years I'm going to be on Facebook or Instagram, on social media in general. Those were that, one, I will not use any kind of abusive language. I'll keep in mind the language. Of course, a lot of people who watching me belong to the age group of 13 to 19, 20-year-olds. So
very vulnerable, like you said.
Very vulnerable. Yes, and the kind of content that I post, I need to add some kind of value in their lives, any which ways. That was something that, my content has to either be like positive content that makes them happy. They watch my videos and then they instantly feel good about themselves, or like it's informative, or I do a lot of styling videos, so of course fashion related, so adding some sort of value. There's a very thin line between like something that is beautiful and that is good visual, and something that is just creepy and you shouldn't be posting this online. Honestly, for me, even if for me, like posting a picture in a bathing suit or a one piece when I'm on the beach or when I'm like near the pool or something, for me, like I try to divert that from, okay, this is a very sexy picture, to this is such a body positive picture, I can wear it too. Trust me, that gets so much more real engagement, because people are relating to it and they're like, you're inspiring us more than, oh my god, you're so hot, sexy, blah, 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 whatever, XYZ. And they're like, thank you for doing this. I love getting the comments where people are like, just because you posted a picture in Goa when you were wearing this one piece, inspired us and just gave us the freedom to wear what we want to wear on the beach, because that is something that you should wear on the beach. You shouldn't be in a kurta pajama, or you shouldn't be in underwear at the beach. Like, if you want to wear it, whatever you want to wear, you should have the freedom to wear it, and you should wear it with confidence.
How can we even attempt to change narratives unless we understand the whole story? Our guests jolted us into reality and showed us a glimpse of the other side of the story, and even redefined what resilience truly means.
When this thing, I started being a lot more open, right? And like hearing my friends, even jokingly though, say to like boys especially, saying to like me, like, yeah, like my mom was like, just be careful of that one. And it's like, you can't catch what I have. This is not contagious. Queerness is not contagious. I feel like that is something we need to address to the audience.
When I began to question my sexual identity, firstly, there's a personal cognitive dissonance that happens. No, I could not be like this. So you want to resolve that. So if a child is coming out to a parent, finally finding the courage to say that, trust that that child has gone through a year or two of first figuring it out themselves. Something called coming out means already you know that it's going to put a pressure on you. I wanted to make it very clear at the time I was doing slam poetry, I was doing my masters, I was doing a lot of things. So the queerness is just one facet of my complete identity and personality. If you come out, coming out is very important because people will not start seeing queerness as ye kahin dur hota hai. They'll start to see it as, oh, there's only 1 degree separation. I know a person and this person's good, or this person is whom we like.
I'm trans, which means that, you know, when I was born, the doctors looked at me and said, congratulations, ye ladka hua hai. When puberty started happening, that was the first sign that something was wrong for me, because I never really saw myself as a boy. You know, I never saw myself as somebody who was fitting in. I think for me personally speaking, right, as somebody who grew up quite gender non-conforming, like now I look a certain way, I present a certain way, but as a child, there's also a lot of that sense of chaos of not knowing your own self, right?
Yeah.
So I think for me, the most insulting thing that's ever happened is having my accomplishments, whether academic or otherwise, be erased or be put down because of a sense of, oh, but you know, she's like that, she won't be fit for this role because she's like that. So to have those opportunities be denied to you, or to be told, oh no, you can't go for this inter-school competition because, you know, they'll take that one a little more seriously. So things like that, I think those are what stay with you, you know, because
Those hurt even till date.
yeah, like a random person on the street or like at the mall looking me up and down, or you know, group of rowdy people just shouting something doesn't stick with you because you're like, it's whatever, it's catcalls, doesn't matter. But to sort of realize that from a very young age on, people in positions of authority are going to use your identity against you and try to invalidate the things that make you a contributing member of society. So that tends to really devalue you and make you question, you know, whether, oh wait, like, what is it about me that doesn't make me the same caliber as my peers? So I think,
I was a very suicidal kid. मेरी परवरिश हुई, मैंने ये रियलाइज किया कि आई एम नॉट फिटिंग इन. मैं अपने माँ बाप से बात करने की कोशिश किया. They just kind of ignored it. मतलब पता नहीं ये क्या कह रहा है टाइप से, हो जाएगा टाइप से. नो हो जाएगा नहीं. They just ignored the conversation. To the point I said, मुझे लगा कि चलो ठीक है, I have hurt myself not once, not twice, 7 times. अब मैं थक चुकी हूँ और मुझे अपनी फैमिली क्योंकि मेरी जो जन्मजात फैमिली है, मेरे खून है, उनमें सक्षमता नहीं है मुझे समझने के लिए, मुझे अपनाने के लिए. तो मुझे अपनी फैमिलीज बनानी. तो इसीलिए तभी किन्नर समुदाय के मुझे लगा कि मैं अपनी वेशभूषा है, मेरी जो चाहिए है, कहीं ना कहीं मैच होती है. और इंसान एक सामाजिक प्राणी है. अगर वो सामाजिक प्राणी नहीं होता तो हम लोग शायद पेड़ों से गुफाओं में नहीं जाते, और गुफाओं से हम समाज में नहीं, आज आपके कॉम्प्लेक्स में नहीं होते. तो हमें जैसे लोग को भी लगता है कि हम किसी को माँ, बेटी, भाई, पति, बाप बनाए. तो जब हमारे नैतिक रिश्ते, खून के रिश्ते हैं जो हमें सपोर्ट नहीं करते, तो कहीं ना कहीं रिश्तों का बनना जरूरी है. तो तब मैंने अपना एक्टिविज्म शुरू किया अपने. और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि मैंने अपने आप से खुद एक्सेप्ट किया. बहुत ही अच्छा कोट मुझे उस दिन मिला कि in a society where self-doubt, is an issue of profit for them, loving yourself is an absolute, right. मतलब तुम कुछ अलग कर रहे हो, जहाँ पे ये सोसाइटी आपके सेल्फ डाउट्स, आपके कमियों पे ट्राइव करती है. अगर आप खुद से मोहब्बत कर लो, ये तो धमाल, गुजराती में एक शब्द है धमाल मचा के आ गए, वो हो गया. So अपने आप से प्यार करना सीख लिया, अपने आप के खुद के पैरों पे खड़े रहना सीख लिया.
That is something called resilience, right? A lot of people are born with it. A lot of people learn it through hardships. So most of us have been thrown into situations where we had to come out on our own. Either it was I slash myself and I end my life, or it is I want to live this life.
I'll deal with it.
And not only deal with it, I'll also change people's minds about it.
आप ये सोचिए कि कोई एक व्यक्ति है जो आपकी इतनी सोशल कंडीशनिंग, इतने कंडीशनिंग के बावजूद देयर इज अनदर नरेटिव. मतलब मेन स्ट्रीम हेटेरोसेक्सुअल नहीं है. आप बचपन से उसको दिखा रहे हो, टीवी में दिखा रहे हो, सोसाइटी में दिखा रहे हो, आपको सब जगह यही पढ़ाया जाता है कि आपको होमोसेक्सुअल, हेटेरोसेक्सुअल होना है, ये दुनिया है. पर इसके बावजूद अगर आपके बच्चे को समलैंगिक है या तृतीयपंथी है, किन्नर है, जो भी कुछ है, तो उन्होंने कुछ अपने लिए चॉइसेस नहीं बनाए. ऐसा कोई चॉइस नहीं बनाते जहाँ पे हर दिन तिरस्कार हो, हर दिन पार्टनर ढूंढने में मुश्किल हो, हर दिन नॉर्मल जिंदगी जीने में दिक्कतें आए. तो द क्वेश्चन इज दैट आप अगर क्वेश्चन को चेंज करके बोले कि इट इज नॉट ईजी फॉर द चाइल्ड, it is not easy for the parents.
We drove for about 2 minutes, then he stopped the car and told me, Mom, I want to tell you something, that I am gay. And I said, okay, fine. अगर God की इच्छा यही है तो ठीक है. If it is God's will, it's fine. So that was it. And yeah, if I say that I accepted immediately and completely, I mean, vis-a-vis him, it was like that. Okay,
But
we
internally?
accept. But internally, there was a lot of turmoil and definitely sadness also going on. Why sad? Because at that point in time, Section 377 was in place. And suddenly to know that you are such a great performer child, he also had the same background. Whenever I would go to PTMs, teachers would always praise him, oh, such an outstanding boy, and no complaints and all. And suddenly you discover that, oh, my son is a criminal, like, what's that?
An awful state of mind to be in.
Yeah, so it was really a difficult phase, no doubt about it. But then we sailed through it, very nicely, one step, step by step, like taking baby steps, but never giving up. Whenever we fell down, we woke up again. Okay, fine, it's okay. So what?
When you have been accustomed to one way of thinking, anything that kind of contradicts that, suddenly you're like, no, can't deal with that. You know, but I mean, I feel like my dad and my mom are like prime example. I feel like Dr. Vibha is a prime example that just it's just a tiny little hump to get over that rigidness. But once you get over it, you start opening your eyes up to so much more. You know, to have like dad actually like be quite literally the founding stone of like not just this movement that we've started, but for him to be the rock for the family, to kind of give strength to my mom, to kind of give strength to me to undergo my own journey, you know, to my sister, to my grandfather, to be that person.
Because it goes far beyond that one person, right?
His accepting me went so much further beyond just the two of us. It is because of dad, it's because of mom that I can walk around in society with my head held absolutely high and have the same kind of like lofty, almost unreasonable dreams that every other millennial has.
When life gave them lemons, they brought out the tequila. Every woman's achievement is another's inspiration. We are truly the strongest when we cheer each other on. Let's keep doing that on Let's Talk with Parul. Stay tuned and stay inspired.